The alien woman approached me and said, "You will be my husband." I was sweeping the rust-red dust off my outpost deck when she landed. No warning, no signal, no ship, just a hum in the air and a shimmer of light. And suddenly, there she was, tall, silver-skinned, her eyes like glowing citron, armor like polished obsidian hugged her muscular frame, and a long, bladed staff rested across her back. She didn't look like the merchants or diplomats who occasionally visited Earth's distant colonies. She looked like someone who could punch a hole through a tank. And then, in a voice as calm as a sunrise, she said, "You will be my husband." I dropped my broom. What? You are human, alone, reproductively compatible, and I have chosen you. Look, I think there's been a mistake. She tilted her head. Do you reject the honor? I mean, who are you? She straightened her spine, placed a fist over her chest, and declared, "I am Vek'shara, daughter of the High Matron of Kryal Threx, commander of the Obsidian Circle, and chosen huntress of the 12 Trials." I blinked. Okay, well, I'm Jason, janitor, from Earth. Welcome to Dustfield 7. Her brow furrowed, confused by my underwhelming response. Are you not honored? I'm very confused. She nodded solemnly, a common emotional state for primitive species. Hey, we landed on Mars, you know? She leaned in slightly. And I conquered 3 moons before I reached maturity. Touché. Vek'shara followed me around for the next several days like an ancient goddess glued to a man who had no idea what he was doing with his life. At first, I thought she was joking. A prank by some interstellar reality show. But she wasn't. She brought gifts. Giant slabs of spiced meat from creatures I'd never seen. Jewelry made from crystallized bloodstone. And, disturbingly, a carved skull she proudly claimed was from a rival contender. You killed someone to marry me? They dishonored your name. I made them regret it. I didn't even know them. That is irrelevant. They breathed in your direction with unworthy intentions. I had no idea what to do with that information, so I made her tea. Turns out Kryal Threx warriors have never heard of tea. She sipped it, stared at me with awe, and then bowed deeply. You are a provider, she said. Your blood is strong. I just microwaved water. She didn't care. By week 2, I'd stopped trying to convince her to go back home. Not because I wanted to marry her, though she was admittedly gorgeous in a terrifying way, but because I'd started to like her. She was blunt, sometimes dangerously so. She treated every conversation like a negotiation of interstellar consequence. But she also listened, asked questions, watched sunsets with an intensity that suggested she'd never had time to enjoy one before. "Why do you live here?" she asked one night, sitting beside me on the deck. "It's quiet. Nobody expects much from me. I can just be me." "That is rare." I glanced at her. "Why did you choose me?" She turned her eyes toward the stars. "Because I am tired of being only a weapon. I have seen the way you touch things, gently, as if nothing you hold is beneath you." I didn't know what to say to that, so I just poured her another cup of tea. The 3rd week brought trouble. A ship descended. Sleek, black, marked with the crest of the Obsidian Circle. 3 more Kryalians stepped out, taller, meaner-looking than Vek'shara, with eyes that burned like suns. "Your High Matron commands your return," the lead one said. "This union is unauthorized." "It is mine to choose," Vek'shara replied. "You are hers, command." She stepped between them and me, and when one of them reached for me, just to touch my shoulder, she dropped him to the ground in a blink. Blood smeared the dust. The other stepped back, not in fear, but in respect. "I will not be taken," she said. "This male is mine. and I am his. Any who deny this shall face the right. What's the right? I whispered. A duel to preserve honor. Of course it is. She turned to me, eyes softer. You do not have to accept me, but I will not let them take you. It was the first time she'd ever said if I wanted her, if I chose her back. That night, I sat beside her in the stillness. You could leave, I said. Find someone worthy, strong, a warrior. You are all of those, she replied. I'm a janitor. You are kind. You see beauty. You do not command, but you inspire. I have lived among conquerors and tyrants. I would rather build a life with one who sweeps the earth gently. She didn't ask again. She waited, and I realized I didn't want her to leave either. I reached for her hand. Her fingers, callous and warm, closed around mine. Okay, I said, let's try this marriage thing. She smiled. It was terrifying and beautiful. The ceremony was like nothing I'd imagined. On Earth, weddings had flowers and music. On Kryal Threx, they had fire, combat, odes carved into stone with blades. And yet, standing there, beside Vek'shara, dressed in ceremonial silver with her hair braided in a pattern of her tribe, I didn't feel out of place. I felt chosen, loved, known. I spoke my vows in Kryalian. She recited hers in English. When it ended, she kissed me, not gently but fiercely, like a promise, and the stars above seemed to cheer. We returned to Dustfield 7. Together, she helped me upgrade my outpost, reinforce the roof, turn the storage unit into a garden dome, build a forge just because she missed the smell of fire and metal. I taught her to play chess. She beat me after 3 games. I learned from watching, she said smugly. We argued about which tea was best. She insisted spice root infusion was superior. I disagreed until I tried it with honey. Then I changed my mind. Sometimes we fought. We were different in every possible way, but we always talked. And one night, under a meteor shower, she whispered, "You are no longer a choice. You are my heart." I leaned into her warmth and said, "Right back at you." A year later, we had visitors, other Kryalians, curious, open-minded, skeptical, but not hostile. They wanted to understand how a warrior had fallen in love with a human. She gave them tea, told them stories, spoke of peace in a way none of them had heard before. And I realized we hadn't just built a home. We'd built a bridge.